Hello dear friends, again I am here with one more poem, with the new poem. This time we are going to discuss about class 12 poem. The title of the poem is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, which is composed by Stephen Spender. See, before going to discuss about the actual explanation and the poetic lines of the poem, I would like to tell you that this is the poem again about a realistic aspect and a reality of the society. You can see in the title slum. See, an elementary school classroom in a slum. Now here we are going to discuss about the classroom condition and what kind of education is there in slum areas, in slum locality, and what kind of children are staying there and how they are getting their education and what actual thinking they are having while taking the education. These all things are described here by Stephen Spender that we are going to discuss about. See, this is the poem where there is no such constructions which we can see in other type of poems. It means the poem is written in free verse. I'm giving you this idea at the beginning of the discussion because see, when I'll read out the poem, at that time you will come to know what kind of lines are there in the poem. So that's why I'm telling you that there is no such rhyme scheme which we have discussed in other kind of poems. So that rhyme scheme is not there. That's why when there is no such construction which is having some rhyming words and a particular rhyme scheme, that kind of poems are known as free verse. Verse means poetry, verse means poem, and when there is no bounding, when there is no such construction, that is known as free verse. Okay, so the poem is having a construction of free verse. That's why you people should not think about any kind of rhyme scheme because there is no rhyme scheme has been followed by the poet. Okay, now we'll go through this stanza wise discussion. Okay, now we will start with the reading of the stanzas and simultaneously I will tell you about the expression, about the meaning, about the message what poet has given in the poem. See, far, far from gusty waves these children's faces, like rootless fields, the hair torn round their pallor. The tall girl with her wet down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted unlucky hair of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk at book of the dim class. One unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream on squirrel's game. In tree room, others than this. This is the first stanza. See, here you can guess here that there is no such rhyming word. As no rhyme words are there, it means no rhyme scheme. So there is no such as rhyme word, and that's why this is the free verse poem. See, now I'll tell you about the first stanza, that what poet has expressed here. Far, far from gusty waves, these children faces. See, what poet is saying? Far, far from gusty waves. Now, what is the meaning of gusty waves? This is stormy waves. Okay? Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. So if we think, because see, we people are not having that kind of idea about this slum children, right? Because we don't know how they are living, what they are thinking, what is their lifestyle and all these things. That's why what poet is saying that far, far from these children are like such kind of faces. What is the actual texture of gusty waves? Whenever there are stormy waves, what kind of texture is there? What they are looking like? So these children's faces are like that only. That he is saying that far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like how they are, what kind of faces they are having, like rootless weeds. See what poet is saying, like rootless weeds. Now weeds means what? Weeds is it's a kind of wild plant, means unwanted grass, that we can say, that is unwanted grass which we don't use in any kind of thing and that does not have any root. That's why poet is saying that these children children are like rootless weeds. It means no one is feeling to have talk with them, rather they are somehow unwanted in the society. That's why these children are like rootless weeds. And what is saying? The hair torn round their pallor. Now pallor means pale. Now what kind of surrounding is there? Pallor. Pallor means pale. Okay, pale, dull. So this is the society they are having, and in that particular surrounding they are living. The tall girl with her weighed down head. Now see what poet is saying. See, just think about it. Beautifully poet has expressed the actual condition of the slum children and what is their life. Now what is saying, that the tall girl, there is a girl who is tall, her weighed down head, but her head has been down. Her head is down. How? Why her head down? With the weight. What weight is there? It is not only about her hair's weight. It is about the responsibilities what that girl is having, being a girl, or about her family. That poet wants to tell us here. So what is saying? The tall girl with her weighed down head, and one more boy is there. And how is that boy? Paper seeming boy with rat's eyes. What is saying? Paper seeming boy. That boy is that much skinny. Paper seeming means here skinny, very thin. That boy is paper seeming. He looks like paper and he is as skinny as paper. And what is saying? With rat's eyes, but his eyes are like rats. Means how rats likes means what? That always rats likes are searching something. So here this boy is also searching something. Means he is not stable and he is skinny, and the stunted unlucky hair. This boy is unlucky here. He is going to repeat the things of his family, of his father, of his ancestors, but in an unlucky way. He is an unlucky here of twisted bones, because what he is going to continue, what he is going to repeat from his ancestor, that is disease. That is disease. What kind of disease? Twisted bones. He is going to continue the disease of his father, reciting a father's gnarled disease. Gnarled means here, see, this word is there, gnarled. Father's, what disease his father is having, the same disease he is going to continue. Gnarled disease about twisted bones. Gnarled means twisted. So that disease he is going to continue. His lesson from his desk at book of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream on squirrel's game. One more boy is there, and how he is looking like? He is unnoted. He sat at the back. No one is having their attention to that boy, but he is having a sweet young what we can say, texture, sweet young expression, and his eyes live in a dream. Somewhere he is having his dream, somewhere in his eyes it reflects that something is there which is going on in his mind, that is about his dream. And what kind of thing he is doing? On squirrel's game in tree room other than this. Now squirrel is a creature which is always running here and there, and that kind of boy he is. Like his eyes are also playing a squirrel's game, means he is searching something. And what squirrels are doing in a tree room, like that only this boy is having a kind of what we can say, having a kind of thinking, having a kind of expression, and the same things, the same activities he is also doing like squirrel. That poet expressed here. Now see, this is the first stanza. Here poet introduced about the children of slum. In the first stanza he has given us an idea that what kind of children are there in slum area. That we discussed about a girl, then a boy, again a boy. These all things we discussed. So these kind of children are staying there. These kind of children are there. These kind of children are there, and what they are thinking, what they are having the surrounding, that poet introduced here. This is a surface introduction about the children. Now let me tell you about, now we'll discuss about the no rhyme scheme is there, so we'll discuss about the poetic devices of first stanza. Now see, in the first stanza there is children compared with rootless weeds. See, children and rootless weeds. Okay, so this comparison, what is the poetic line? Children faces like rootless weeds. This comparison shown with the word like. So this is simile. Okay, so in the first stanza there is a poetic device of simile. In the line, children's faces like rootless weeds. Okay, one more poetic device is there, that is metaphor. Now what metaphor is there? See, poet has expressed a comparison with the line paper seeming boy. Now here what poet wants to comment? Poet wants to comment that that boy is like paper, but there is no word as such to show the comparison like and as. That's why there is a direct comparison between paper and boy, that is known as metaphor. Okay, this is the poetic device, another one. And repetition, far far from gusty waves. Far far, so far word repeated here, that's why repetition is there. So in this stanza there are three poetic devices, that is simile, metaphor and repetition. Okay, these three poetic devices are there. Hope you understand this first stanza. Now we'll move to the next one. On saw cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at down, civilized dome, riding all cities, bay-lit flowery Tyrolese valley, open-handed map, awarding the world its world, and yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world where all pictures, all these pictures, all their pictures, not this map, their world where all their future is painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed in with a lit sky, far far from rivers, caves and stars of worlds. See, these are the poetic lines. Now here what poet is saying that, now what is the condition of the room, of that classroom? What is the condition? Now the classroom is having sour cream walls. Okay, that classroom is having dull walls. The color of the classroom is creamish, yellowish, that is dull. There is no enough light. So that is the thing. And on those walls there are donations. What donations are there? The things, the gifts which has been given from someone to that particular school, those are the donations, and those all donations are there on the wall. Now what donations are there? There is a map of the world, there is a Shakespeare's picture, there is a picture of Tyrolese Valley. Tyrolese Valley is a beautiful flowers valley in Austria, that is mentioned here, and those all pictures are there. Now think about this. Now these children are living in slum. They don't know what is the world map. They don't know what cities, what countries are mentioned in the map, and how those countries, how those cities are looking like. They don't know because they did not go there. They don't know about those all things. They don't know what is Tyrolese Valley. They don't know who is Shakespeare. What Shakespeare is for them, Shakespeare is like a wicked man for them. That is, we'll discuss in the next stanza. Now what they're thinking, that these all are the pictures, these all are the donations stick on the walls of the classroom. Now what poet is saying, that these all are the donations on the walls of the classroom, and see, these all are awarded to the class. It is a world, and yet for these children. Now this is their world, but their actual world is something else. That is not their actual world. Their actual world means to do their day-to-day work, to live their life, to get their bread and butter. That is the only life they know. They don't know how to go beyond. They don't know how to enjoy their life. That is the only thing. Their enjoyment means their work only, and what they are getting for their bread and butter. That is the only thing they can do. So poet is saying that this is it's world, and yet for these children, these windows, not this map. Now see, these windows are a kind of world for them. That map is not their world, because the outer part of the nature they can see just with the help of the window, but beyond that window what's going on, that they don't know. That is poet is saying. And these children, now see what poet is saying, that where all their future is painted with a fog. Their future is, now just imagine how beautiful he explained here. Their future is painted. Yes, they're getting education, they got classroom, but how their future is painted? Their future is painted with fog. Fog, how is fog? Fog, what is the texture of the fog? That is blur. So their future is also blur, vague. There is no future as such. Means they don't know what they are going to do, what is going to happen with them. They don't know. So that is the future. So their future is painted with a fog, and a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. Yes, they will get, maybe they'll get a track, they'll get a path, but that path is narrow. That path is narrow, and that is also sealed with lead sky. See, that path is also sealed with lead sky. It means there is no way to go out, to go beyond. That is the only thing they have in their life. And far, far from rivers, caves and stars of worlds. They don't know what is river, what is maps, what are stars, and what we can enjoy the nature. They don't know about these all things, because all the things of their life, that is blur. They cannot enjoy. This is about the second stanza. Means here poet is telling us, poet is expressing about the actual life of the children in the slum. Now see, we'll discuss about the poetic devices. Here in the second stanza, walls compared as dull with creamy walls, sour cream walls. So that is metaphor. Okay. So the first poetic device is here, metaphor. In the first line, okay, walls compared with dull color. Okay, that is metaphor. The next is assonance. See, assonance. What is assonance? I told you, whenever there is an effect of a vowel sound in the same poetic line, that is assonance. So here in the line, bellied, flowery, Tyrolese valley, in this line E sound is repeated. Means E, there is an effect of E sound. Okay, E sound. So that is why that is assonance. Okay. Next figure of speech is here, allusion. Allusion means a reference of some images. Okay. There is a reference of Shakespeare's head. There is a reference of Tyrolese valley. There is a reference of world map. So these are the references used in the poem in that particular line. That is why that is allusion. And one more is there, that is a commonest one that you know very well, that is repetition. Far word is repeated. Far, far from rivers. Last line of the stanza, far word is repeated twice. That's why there is repetition. So these four figure of speeches are there. Okay, these are the four things. Rhyme scheme is not there, as it is in free verse. Okay, this is about the second stanza. Now we'll move to the third stanza. See, just listen it carefully. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, and the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love, tempting them to still for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes. From fog to endless night, on their stag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel with mended glass like bottle beads of stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum. So blot their maps with slums as big as doom. See here what poet is saying, that yes, these all things are there. Now see how these schools are formed. Some NGOs are there, some government sectors are there. These are forming these kind of schools. They are giving some donations like these pictures and all. These all things are happening. But do you think, are they really getting a quality education? This is one more aspect. See here, now what I told you, that is about the literal part of the poem. But what is the real thing? What is the real message poet wants to give? That this is the neglected part of the society. These slum children and their education is a neglected part of the society. Somewhere we are not thinking about the quality education for these slum children. We are not thinking about their future. So we need to think about these all things. So what poet is saying, that yes, if we'll try about these all things, but practically we are not trying. So what donations you people are giving to these slum children, to these slum schools, so that is not at all worthy. Because these children, Shakespeare's head, as that picture is there, that man, they don't know who is Shakespeare. So that man, they can think that this man is a wicked man. This man is a cunning man, because there is a smile on Shakespeare's face, and somewhere they are thinking that this man is laughing on our condition. So that man, that Shakespeare, who is the greatest dramatist of English literature, but they don't have any idea. That's why they are thinking this is the wicked person. So Shakespeare is a wicked one, and the map is a bad example, because they don't know what cities are there, what countries are there, and what is this actual. So this is the bad example for them, with sheep and sun on love tempting them to steal for leaves that slyly turn in their cramped holes. So what the things expressed over there, they don't know about the actual nature, they don't know about the natural sources, because they have the only thing of their own, that is their cramped holes, means their own houses, their own huts in the slum area. That is the only thing. From fog to endless night. Endless night. Their night is endless because there is a darkness forever in their life. That's why the night is endless. On their slag heap, these children wear skins pipped through by bones and spectacles of steel with bended glass like bottle beads and stones. Means what they are having, that is not worthy. That is not actual qualitative. That is the thing. This is the life they have. They cannot enjoy their life like children, like other children. That is the thing. And all of their time and space are foggy slum. So what time is there in their hand? What space is there in their hand? And what they are getting, that is only thing, it is a foggy slum. Means what fortune is there? That is foggy slum. Their fortune, their future is completely blur. So their future is blur. They don't have any kind of bright future. This is the blurriness, because what we are giving, that is not actual worthy for their future, for their education. And so blot their maps with slums as big as doom. So their future is not about a kind of boon for them, but their future means a doom only. They will be having a bad destiny only. That is their doom. So these things expressed by the poet here, that whatsoever people are donating to the slum classrooms, to the slum children, that is not at all worthy, because practically we are not working for them. Somewhere some people are not practically working for them. That is the bigger issue in the society, and that's why I told you that somewhere this is the neglected part of the society, and we need to take care about these all things. We need to pay attention to these all things. Okay, now I'll tell you about the poetic devices of third stanza. Poetic devices of third stanza, that is again metaphor, because their houses compared with cramped holes. Okay, this is metaphor. Okay, cramped holes means their houses, their small houses. Then one more poetic device is there, simile, that is there in the line C, the spectacles with mended glass like bottle bits. So like bottle bits. So there is a comparison with bottle bits and spectacles, which is shown with the word like. That's why there is simile and alliteration is there. Okay. There is an alliteration also, because in the line, one more poetic device is there, that is alliteration, bottle bits. So B sound is repeated twice, bottle bits. So B sound is repeated twice, that's why this is alliteration. So these are the poetic devices of stanza number 3. Now we'll move to the stanza 4. This is the last stanza, and this is the stanza where poet has given an important message to the readers. Unless governor, teacher, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break, oh break, open till they break the town, and show the children green fields and make their world. Run azure on gold sands and let their tongues run naked into books. The white and green leaves open. History is there, whose language is the sun. See, so this is the last stanza of the poem, and this is the stanza where poet has given an important, very meaningful message to us, to the readers. And what poet is saying, that unless governor, teacher, means this is the responsibility of these people, governor of the of that state, of that country, then teacher, then inspector, means police people, and visitors, those who are visiting to slum, means social workers, some NGOs are there, they are visiting to this, such kind of slum. So these people can take initiative, they can do something for these children. And then these map, whatever maps are there on the wall, these maps can be their window, so they can come out of the slum and then they can have something as their future. These windows that shut upon their lives like catacomb. But now these all windows are shut, and that's why what life they are living? They are living a life like catacombs. Catacombs means it's a underground place where people buried. Okay, so this is a kind of cemetery. So these people are buried. So that kind of, this is the catacomb, this world, what world they are having now, what life they are living, that is like catacombs for them. So catacomb, I told you, catacomb means underground place where people buried. Okay. Okay, this is catacomb, means cemetery, that is cemetery. Okay, and what poet is saying, that this now what life they are living, that life is like a catacomb for them, and that life they are living, once these all people like teacher, governor, inspector, once these people will go there, they can open the windows, they can turn these catacombs into a good life for these children, into a good place for these children. And break, oh break, open till they break the town, and show the children green fields and make their world. See, so these people can open these shut windows and they can turn their world into freshness. What darkness is there in their life, that darkness can turn into the light of their future, and then that can be a green field for them, and that can make their world. So what poet is appealing here to us, that run azure on gold sands. Run azure, azure means a bluish color. See, azure means blue color. Okay, this is azure. So what poet is saying, that run azure. So once they'll come out of the slums, then they can have a very nice what we can say, experience of the nature, and they can enjoy it, and they can run on the gold sand. Means gold sand means here nature, the actual nature, and let their tongues run naked. And what poet is saying, then you can offer them books. Their tongues can run naked means fluently they can go through the books, the white and green leaves open. So here once we will open for them, once we will open the books and the nature for them, then they can enjoy these all things in an actual way. And what poet is saying, that history is theirs whose language is the sun. Means once you will enjoy the real education, then and then only one can have their life, one can have their future, one can have a life with worth, with the meaning. And that is the thing poet described here. So here poet wants to appeal, poet is appealing these people, poet wants to give message to the people that you people can take initiative for such kind of slum children, so that they can come out of the slum and they can enjoy the real world. So the poetic devices are there in the stanza 4, in the last stanza. Metaphor. See, poet expressed here that green and white, what the poet is saying, that white and green leaves open means white indicates book and green indicates nature. So this is the comparison with the nature, that's why this is metaphor. Then in the line break, oh break, so break word repeated, that's why that is repetition. And anaphora. See these lines, these two continuous lines, run azure on gold sands and let their tongues run naked. So these two lines continuously starts with the word run. So run word repeated twice in the continuous lines, that's why that is anaphora. Okay, so these are the poetic devices given in the stanza number 4. So this is about the explanation and the message Stephen Spender has given in the poem An Elementary School Classroom. Hope I have covered the explanation and poetic devices, and there is no rhyme scheme, that I told you. And what kind of poem it is, that is free verse, that also we discussed. Hope you understood the things, whatever I have covered here, whatever I have tried to give you. Hope you have enjoyed the video. Next time we will be having a good discussion of one more poem. Till that time, stay safe, stay home. Thank you.